Ladies, gentlemen, gentlemen, we are master debaters debating movies. Now, with me is my partner in crime, Emilio, aka Eager.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Master Betas Debating Movies.
We fumbled.
Yeah.
But tonight, or actually yesterday, we took a crack at Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, at the theater. Surprisingly enough, we were the only two people in the theater, so it was a hell of an experience.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I was really genuinely surprised. I thought it was going to be packed, but lo and behold, that whole entire theater was empty.
Yeah.
It was a surreal experience, man. When we went in there was maybe at most 5 people inside of the theater, and they were all just employees. So when we got inside, there was just a whole empty theater.
Yeah.
That was eerie in itself.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Spoilers. Lots of spoilers we're talking about, alright? So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, just click on something else. But before we get started, if you could like and maybe subscribe to our page, we really appreciate it because we like doing goofy shit like this all the time.
The way that Claire was entering in Raccoon City was still relevant to the game. So Claire was in the same truck as the truck driver. So they kind of made Claire more of like this, what do you call it, like a criminal lady who kind of just like goes against the rules. So they're changing up her character a little bit there also. But the way she was entering Raccoon City with the truck driver was still pretty cool. I like that they had that whole bit scene with the truck driver eating with the burger. Claire and Chris Redfield's backstory when they were orphans inside of the inside of that little like what do you call it, building?
Raccoon City Orphanage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had both of them like waking up as kids, and we got introduced to the first villain of Resident Evil, which is Taylor. Like
Taylor.
Not Taylor.
Lisa Trevor?
Oh my God! There you go, Lisa Trevor.
This is gonna be an interesting one.
Oh yeah, I know. I gotta get these names down. So, Lisa Trevor was spying on kid Claire Redfield, and it was shot as if it was gonna be a slow horror scene. So they gave this a little bit of like time to set up the mood for a scare.
Absolutely loved Lisa Trevor being in this movie. She's like one of my favorite monsters, and she's the only villain in the series that actually gave me the creeps because she could never be killed. She actually seemed more invincible than Nemesis or any of the high-ranking popular monsters. So the very fact that she had more of a starring role was awesome. But I did not like the fact that they made her more of a hero. Granted, she is a victim. They gave her more of a hero role in the movie, and it was nice. But at the same time, I think it would have been awesome to see her more as someone to fight against. With her, I guess they made her more of a pivotal character because she had access to every part of the city. And I guess that's why they ended up needing her more often. She had the access to the keys. She had access to almost everything, which is why I think she played such an important role. Being the victim, I guess she actually was also being protective of Claire, so she didn't have to follow her footsteps and be experimented on. Overall, the whole movie seemed horrifically CG. But like watching it, it made me actually think of one of my favorite horror movies, which was Child's Play 2. And if you watch Child's Play 2, the whole house the family's in, the Chucky's in, the color scheme of the house, everything about it actually seemed like the family was in a giant dollhouse, which was like, it actually complemented Chucky very well. As far as Resident Evil, which is why I'm bringing it up, is the whole color scheme, lighting, everything about the movie felt like you were actually in the game. And like the monsters, like I said, sadly, horrifically CG. They could have been redeemed if they had proper screen time. And, I'm possibly jumping ahead then, but one of my favorite characters, obviously, from he started in a lot of games, was Leon, and they made Leon into a complete dumbass. and it broke my heart. You know, a lot of people were upset because he was actually Hispanic, and it is kind of funny. Leon S. Kennedy is not Spanish at all. S is for Sanchez, but
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like throughout the whole movie, he was a dunce. You know, like the whole movie could have been him going from dummy to slowly becoming the character he's meant to be, and they that could have saved him.
They had a scene where Leon was trying to be in the group in the deputy's office, and the deputy said, "Leon, you're such a dumbass. Like, what? If they're you're not gonna watch the front counter to see if somebody's about to come in? Go get your ass out of here, you dumbass." And then they even gave him the backstory about how he shot somebody during training, and that's why he had to get transferred over. And so that interaction, Leon was kind of just blowing it off. It's like, oh man, I hate that guy. But what I feel like Leon would have done is started standing up to that dude and telling him to F off. That's what Leon, I had an impression of in the video game. Then there's another scene. The other scene with Leon is where he was just having his headphones, and this was right after the trucker man like blew up the front of RPD, and he's walking in and he has like a whole bunch of fire on him, and then they made Leon seem so oblivious even though it was in front of him, but that's not what we would say Leon would be. So that was just like really heartbreaking too, man. Yeah, I can state all the obvious, but they did not give Leon any sort of like help as far as like developing his character. It just made him the goofy comic relief. The deputy was in the police garage shooting the dog. I thought that was the coolest thing in the movie is that how detailed they made the dogs, zombie dogs, under the police department.
That was the police chief.
The police, yeah. Yeah.
That was the police chief.
What did I call him?
Deputy.
I call him deputy. Oh my goodness. All right, so the police chief and the RPD garage, that definitely was my favorite part.
Yeah.
So they had the dogs, I think, played out really well with the way the display was, and they give the eeriness that the garage had. That was cool. I think they really did a good job on that.
Yeah. Police chief was I gotta say he stole the show. He had like it seems to have like the best backs. Well, it didn't reveal too much about him, but in the game he's pretty much a scumbag. He's really involved in a lot of the dirty stuff, but like the actor that played him, he did a beautiful job. He kind of stole the show.
Yeah, how like passionate he was about like getting everybody everywhere, and then just the fact that he had really like smart aleck remarks towards Leon. It was really cool. That was a good dynamic between the chief and Leon. I like how he was just verbally abusing him the whole time.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Then he had his own little badass moments. Like at the police garage scene, he was shooting up the dogs. Like and then like in fight or flight mode at the very end.
I will say though that where they definitely, I'll say, pissed off a lot of fans is they converged two timelines too much, which is in this movie the T virus and the G virus exist together, and from what I remember in the game, the incidents at the mansion happened first, and then the infection of the city happened later. But these, I believe, were happening side by side. Feel free to quote, tell me I'm wrong. I'm just going based off of memory of playing the game.
The next thing about like the trailer that they referenced was the classified files. The menu system on that from the first game, and then they have like the save room. They gave little homages to that and these small little cinema shots.
Well, as far as this particular spot in the trailer, I love this. This is reference to the very first game, particularly from the journals when one of the patients, or I believe doctors, was transitioning into zombie. They're slowly losing their humanity, and towards the very end, all they were able to really write was itchy tasty, and it was just so awesome to see that. I'm not sure if I'd call that an Easter egg, but yeah, all the zombies were uniform. They would slowly go bald, and they had all the same similar look. You didn't really see too much deterioration, which wasn't a bad thing, but yeah, this was one of the things that actually made me happy for the film.
All right.
This is one of those examples where the trailer's better than the movie, and that breaks my heart.
Yeah, all right. We finished the trailer. And the trailer's trying to show off the liquor, like as if it's gonna be the main villain or the main monster. But folks, the liquor only had at best 2 minutes of screen time.
That's a freaking nightmare. I will say, the whole movie looks completely CG. That could be forgivable. The chief's death, being lifted to the ceiling, CG. When the liquor dropped him, it actually looked like it was like some straight up original FX work. And I was really happy with how the chief looked with the aftermath of his death. Liquor, like I said, he didn't have that much time, and basically the liquor got its cheeks clapped by Lisa Trevor. Lisa Trevor fucked him up. You know, it wasn't Leon or Claire. And you see Leon going to town shooting a zombie up. He only kills one zombie, and he unloads a whole clip on a zombie. He has a total of 2 kills in the movie, and one of them, it was just overkill to try and compensate for his, you know, his lack of skill. And also, Jill, a lot of people gave her shit too because she's not light complected. And obviously you wanted to stay true to the game. The actress that played Jill was a badass woman. You know, she was toned, she looked like she could fight. She had everything in the making of a good character. They just needed to give her more backstory.
Yeah, and she was played off as this super like accurate shooter lady who could like fire at anything. And they gave her like a little forced love interest with Wesker.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's fine and all. But they just kept on giving her the tough, I can shoot anything look. And I'm going to fire at whatever is there.
Yeah, she came off more arrogant, you know, but from the Jill we've seen in the from the first game all the way up to like Resident Evil 3, she seems more reserved, I guess, as a character. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the impression I always got when I played Jill. She was always a favorite character of mine.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about Jill Valentine. She was, to me, the more serious like character. She was like basically another Chris Redfield. It's like all about Raccoon City,
Boom.
and boom about like the zombie outbreak. But this Jill Valentine was like more as like, hey, what about your friends? Go check on everybody. Like we're a team, and I'm the badass. And they just gave her like all this different type of things to work with, and that may have been the actor, I'm not sure, or the writing. They give Leon this liner. It says, are you back in charge, sir? Like as if like, because what happened before then is that the chief left to escape RPD with the evidence.
Yeah.
And basically says, all right, Leon, you're in charge. I know you're the rookie, but I'm pretty sure your dad is going to be happy that his loser son moved up so fast in the ranks. And like Leon had no response to that. He basically was just like, okay, boss, well, we can't really have nobody without you. Don't leave us. And it's like, wow.
I was gonna say the movie revolves around 3 areas. It revolves around the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
It revolves around the police station and the orphanage. And the reason why the chief, Leon and Claire, went back to the orphanage had access to a railroad underneath it, which is why they were trying to escape the city. The city was doomed to be exploded by 6 a.m. So there was a definitely timeline that they were following within the movie. You know, and like I said, everything was good and made sense. But like when I was talking about it was 3 movies, they were trying to focus on every character, and it wasn't working. There was one character too that didn't get the screen time that they deserved, which was a pivotal part in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl.
Yeah,
Cheryl was in the game. Was in the movie.
And you know, she was like a little girl that you know was just there to react to the scary monsters.
Dude, in the game, she is such a brave little girl. You don't know how much anxiety I got playing as Cheryl, because you didn't have any weapons. You had to dodge the Dobermans. You had to dodge all these monsters just by, you know, some good maneuvering. But Cheryl was such a powerful, strong character for a little girl, and they should have gave her, you know, like Cheryl could have went with Leon. In Leon's story, she could have went with Claire's story, and she could have had a decent part of the movie just focused on her. Because there was parts of the game the others couldn't get to except Cheryl.
They gave Wesker this kind of like change and character where he finds out like the helicopter explodes, and he understands that he has to go through this opening. What once he starts using the tablet, the passageway opens up, and he's about to abandon Jill.
Yeah.
That change in character would have been cool if they kept on going that route, but Wesker still stayed the same Wesker.
Yeah.
And didn't turn into like an evil, cold-hearted guy. He was still the same kind of like character that was played at the beginning of the room meeting.
Yeah.
So even then, they still rushed Wesker's character.
Yeah, and the spoiler alert and stuff. He gets shot, but brought back to life towards the end credits by
Ada Wong.
So yeah, she like when we saw her, we were happy. We were like, come on, you're really fucking up the story already with Wesker.
Now you want to hate? Since we talked about the movie, we can do this as a topic, just to complete trash. The things we disliked most about the movie. I think you talked about it throughout. But
I think I talked about it throughout the movie.
Yeah. The next thing, a big gripe that I have was Leon and the rocket launcher. If they gave him that badass moment with a one-liner sitting at the first class, why didn't they give him more shoot times? And, firing, I'm not no weapons expert, but if you could fire a point-blank missile into a zombie, like, you would have been able to shoot more zombies in the movie prior to the rocket launcher. Not just unload a whole clip on one zombie who technically wasn't even dead. I definitely would watch this as a fan of Resident Evil, but the first time of looking at this and trying to experience Resident Evil, I wouldn't go for this movie. This has been Master the Beta's debating movies, and I think we debated that this movie freaking sucked. Yeah, so enjoy that. I hope we could.
Oh my goodness.
I hope we could give more love to other franchise movies, but this one is definitely not one of them.
Yeah, let's say if you got time, give us a like, subscribe, so we can do more goofy stuff like this. And yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Ignorant Sin is out.